Hello, hello, hello. Okay, wait a minute. Platform. Hello, hello. Okay, can I be heard now? Is it better on this? Okay. Yikes. YouTube is really doing something funky right now. What is really not YouTube is the streaming platform. They are really cutting up right now. But it's okay because today's segment, DC, if you're listening, I know you're listening. Okay, it sounds clear. Okay, sounds good. Thank you for because that was the question I was gonna ask you. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. You got to learn how to move and pivot, because there's always gonna be some situations going on. There's always gonna be something that can throw you off, hinder your groove, hinder your flow. But if you're not able to pivot and move around and adjust accordingly when needed at the right moment in time, then honey, listen, I don't know what to tell you because life definitely throws you curved balls. And if you're not able to kind of, pick up and roll with it, then I don't know. I don't know. We should be able to do that. And I'm so glad because I'm not swayed by, any type of technical difficulties and things like that, because anything in this machine world, this AI world, this internet world, operating systems and stuff like that, of course is man-made. It could possibly, come undone, right? And we know this. So how do we maneuver? That's life, you all. How do we maneuver? So keep your cool, breathe, you know what I'm saying, and just move on through it. It's okay, all is well. All right. Here we go. Welcome to our Sunday session, Divine Femininity United. I am Miss B, and today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to our phenomenal, wonderful supermen of dads. Okay. It is now, listen, there is a such thing as a father and there is a such thing as a daddy. And honey, okay, we love when we have both, right? We love when we have fathers and we love that we can call them daddies and things like that, operating active daddies, okay? Not just a baby daddy, but actually an actual father, a present operating, you know what I mean, hands on, PTA, ponytail, okay, football, T-ball, all of that. Fathers, okay. Those who are sole providers, those who are disciplinarians and authoritative figures and examples and leaders and all of those things, those who can sit down with us and give us our structure, our order, the way of doing things and all of those things, okay. The one that can that can be as strong as a lion but also as gentle as a dove. Those can be big as a bear, but then also on the inside feel like a teddy bear. Okay. Yes, those fathers that are able to have those real life, real talk conversations, all of those things, give you the ins and outs, the ups and downs of what is and what ain't. Okay, ready us for the world. We are grateful for all of those super dads. All of those super dads. We're thankful and we're also honoring those dads who are no longer here with us. Okay, those dads we want to pay homage to. We want to I definitely, specifically for me, my uncle Derek Grant, who raised me. He was there. He was the father figure in my life for a very long time. Okay. And so he transitioned into his highest spirit form in August of last year. And so we want to honor him as well and remember him and those things too. So I honor him as well as me honoring my dad this morning with the remaining of my siblings. So today is Father's Day, and I hope that you all honored the men that are in your lives, whether they're your biological fathers, whether they are the role models, examples, those who stood in, godfathers, uncles that acted like fathers and things like that. Listen, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, DC. Come on, honey. She said, hit that like button. It's the what you say? It's the door. Give it a knock. Okay, it's like the door. Give it a knock. Sister coming through. Yes. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. I wish I could pin it right here. Yes, ma'am. See, this is why support is wonderful. Okay, you gotta love some good support, y'all. Where you ain't got to pay them nothing. They ain't asking for nothing, but it's genuine, heartfelt love and support. I'm so grateful. I thank you, honey. I thank you, thank you, thank you. You all listen, listen, listen. You listen, we're coming down to the wire here. July is the last month. July 11th is the last day on when we can get those cruise payments, and we are approaching the deadline for our upcoming Sacred Woman Divine Femininity retreat. Okay, where it's not hosted by me, it is hosted by Natasha Lee. I'm going to roll the commercial in a second, but it's hosted by Natasha Lee, and she's going to help us host us in on a cruise to Ensenada, Mexico, by way of Catalina Islands. I have been asked to be the keynote speaker for this cruise, and I am so grateful. It's going to be a cruise of firsts for me. Okay, I am a former recording artist, so I sang overseas in other foreign countries before, but I've never spoken. I've never been a keynote internationally before. I've only spoken in the States, and I've only spoken on panels, on online virtual panels that probably have stretched overseas and internationally, but I physically have never gone overseas to do any public speaking. Okay, especially since being a doctor, since being a coach, therapist, and all of those things. So I'm grateful for that. That is the first, right? My second first is me being on a whole cruise. Okay, I've never, y'all, any VER, never taken a cruise before. And I am so excited. I've come close. I've had attempts, but trips have been booked and then canceled because of one thing or another, whatever the case. The event ended or canceled or whatever the case. So I have been, it's fate for me, okay, to get my behind on somebody's cruise ship. Okay. Now, it'll be the first. Now, with that being said, I personally am requesting the largest suite that they have. You know why? Because for my first cruise, I want to make it momentous. Okay. I deserve. Hello, somebody. Come on, come on. Tap your neighbor on the shoulder and say, she deserves. And then tap your other neighbor on the other shoulder and say, you deserve it too. Hello, somebody. All right. So because I deserve this, I am giving myself the largest suite available, which is the balcony suite. Okay. And it's all to myself. You know them. You know those suites have double beds and all that stuff. I don't even care. Okay, my bed is going to me, myself. My suite is going to me, myself, and I. Hello, somebody. Okay, and I am so grateful. I am ready. And not only this, to top this off, we are flying out of California. Right, I am in Georgia, so I'm going from one coast to another coast, which means that flight is going to be a long one. You know how I'm flying? I am flying first class. I mean, why not? This is a trip full of the first, where I'm flying first class to my first cruise where I'm speaking internationally for the first time. I mean, it's only appropriate. Hello? It's only appropriate. I'm just saying. Okay. So, with that being said, I would love to have you with me. Okay. Needless to say, yes, it is a women's divine feminine sacred self-care cruise, right? but it's a cruise nonetheless, which means that you don't have to come by yourself, my love. These rooms are double occupancy. So you can bring your boo, your bae, your lover, your sister, your mama, your auntie, your cousin, your bestie, all of them. You can bring them with you because after we finish meeting for the day, you still have the rest of the cruise to enjoy, all inclusive to enjoy. Okay, I believe the in cabins, the smaller cabins, they are only $350 that's the full price. Okay, your ocean view is $450 and your balcony is $550. That's for one person. Of course, each suite has two beds. Okay, so that is the cost of one person, one bed for the room. So if you bring somebody with you, then that's just you all's individual cost. It's nothing, y'all. Get on the cruise. Here we go. Say it all at the say. Let's run the clip. All right, you all. That was our Sunday announcement. Okay, only one. That's all we need. One Sunday announcement. And now it is time for us to go into our Sunday reading. Again, we're reading from the book Forgiveness, 21 Days to Forgive Everyone for Everything. Yes, 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. It is possible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we have been learning some things. We have been going through this process, y'all. We have been really undergoing some emotional, mental, spiritual surgery. Okay, it has caused us to really look within, but it's also caused us to look around us and look and see what we have opened ourselves up to. Yes, people did things to us. Yes, they did. Yes, certain situations were out of our control. Yes, it happened. Yes. The scars are there. Yes, we cried the real tears. Yes, the pain was for real. Yes. However, the one thing that we do have control over is how we respond, how we react to the circumstance, to the situation, to the matter at hand. We control how we react and how we respond to whatever anybody else does to us. We are not victims at all. We have choices in the matter. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, what are we going to do with it? That's up to us. That is us getting our power back. Okay. Now, if you have your book, go ahead and open your book to day 14. If you don't, you can always get your copy from me, back channel me, inbox me, however you need to do it. But if you just want to follow along with me, then you are more than welcome to do that, honey. Okay. Please hit share if you want to hit share, bring some people in so we can have this real conversation. Today is day 14. Today's focus is I forgive my partner or my ex partner. Y'all, Which one of your partners or ex-partners popped up in your head when I read that title? Okay? Because baby, there are several for me. There are several. There was my first real boyfriend, which I wrote about in my book. If you want my book, it's on my website, okay? But the most recent one I'm going to speak about is, well, I'll speak about two. I'll speak about the first one, and then I'll speak about my former husband, my only ex-husband, my only husband I've ever had, but my ex-husband. Okay, I'll speak about that. I forgive my partner or my ex-partner. All right, here we go. I want the peace of God. The peace of God is everything I want. The peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living, the end I seek, my purpose and my function and my life. An unpeaceful mind cannot hear God. And any unpeaceful feeling is the indicator that what I am thinking is forgivable. Only false ideas disturb my mind, obstructing my natural peace. Let me remember I am not threatened by what I see, but my mind's whose thoughts are the images I perceive. Okay, that is a passage from A Prayer for a Course in Miracles Workbook, Lesson 227. All righty, as we know, as we've seen throughout the course of this book, Iyanla always starts off with a story, whether it's her story or someone else who lended their story for her book for the message. Okay, this forgiveness friend story is from a friend of hers by the name of Almasi Wilcots. Okay, and the story reads: My lesson in forgiveness came when I chose to leave a 23-year marriage. For more years than I care to admit, I would move through my days making every possible effort at being a wife and mother of the year. I worked long hours as the cook, housekeeper, laundress, driver, handy woman, and, of course, primary caregiver for the children. I felt like I was dying inside while acting like everything was all right. I blamed him, the husband slash father, for everything. Looking back, I realized it was I who overstayed my welcome. I was complete with the relationship 6 months into the relationship, but I convinced myself that I had to stay because we had a dream that we wanted to realize, although his dream and my dream were completely different. Then I told myself I had to stay for the children. I had 5 of them along the way. They, I told myself, needed the love and security of having a father and an intact family. The truth is, more often than not, I felt depleted and powerless because I gave him all of my power. I gave him the power I chose to change and to do what felt right for me. He made all of the choices, which made me mad. He decided the direction for our family and finances, which was a continuous source of frustration for me. When it came to most things regarding the children and our family, there was only one way to be considered: his way. I went along with it all until I felt like I couldn't breathe. When I found the strength and courage to leave, I left everything and everyone. I left him, the children, the house, and the bank account. I left with not much more than I had on my back. I guess you could say that I was angry, but that would be the nice way to say it. I just wanted to breathe and live and make some choices for my life and myself. I wanted to find new ways to spend my time. After doing all of this for a very short time, I began to feel alive again. I began to feel as if I had some freedom and some control in my life. Boy, was I mistaken. As the days and weeks passed, I found myself still blaming him for most of what went wrong. When things didn't go the way I wanted, I blamed him. When my plans did not seem to come together, I blamed him. It didn't take me long to realize that he was still the center of my life. In fact, He was still very much in control of what I did and how I did it. I needed help. I had heard about this thing called forgiveness. I had seen it mentioned in several self help books. The only forgiveness I knew about was in the kind reserved for the confessional. Father, forgive me, for I have sinned. In this case, I could not see that what I had done required forgiveness. I just wanted to be free. So instead of forgiveness, I set an intention. I had learned all about them in a workshop. I put my intention on the bedroom wall so that I would see it and say it every morning and night. It was my intention to experience and express love, peace, joy, fun, and an abundance of every good thing. Little did I know that forgiveness was the direct path to fulfillment of that very intention. I said, let me give forgiveness a try. My mantra became, I forgive everyone for everything, no matter what. I forgive everyone for everything. I just said it even though I didn't believe it a word at first. Then I wrote the forgiveness statements. Each time I wrote one, he would come up in my mind. How many times do I have to forgive him? When is he and all of his energy going to vacate the crevices of my mind? The answer came the one day I heard my mind respond. When you can see the good that came from your relationship and how it prepared you for where you are today. Wow. As I thought about it and allowed myself to feel my own sorrow and sadness, my thoughts about and my experience of my ex-husband shifted. It didn't happen overnight. Instead, it was a slow, gradual, and thorough. Each day, I thought of something I could be grateful about during my time with him. As resistant and reluctant as I had been to give him credit for anything, I really began to appreciate him for all the lessons he taught me and the blessings I received during our marriage. Today, not only can I say I love him, I truly want nothing but the very best for him. He has a very special place in my heart. Forgiveness was the key. Forgiveness equal peace plus love plus joy. And you know what? The best gift of all was realizing that my ex really didn't do anything to me. God was always in control, and so was I. Mm, mm, mm. That is good, man. D on YouTube says, yes, the journey requires seeing yourself. Yikes. Yikes. Oh my God. The journey requires seeing yourself. Okay. She says on Clubhouse, deep introspection. Yes. Exactly. See the good. Let me tell you, my story with my ex-husband is almost similar. Almost similar. Almost. Okay. Almost. There was a lot going on. Now, I'm sure this young lady here had some details, okay, when it came down to her issue and her story and stuff like that. I'm quite sure, y'all. I'm quite sure. Hey, Bina, I see you, girl. I'm quite sure, okay? So she kind of left out some of the, some of the stuff, okay? The things that make a story good, right? Ooh, let me woosah, y'all. Let me woosah. Although I have forgiven, I will say this. I haven't spoken about this in a while because even that I had to get kind of a control over because it was always something, right? It was always something that reminded me, like she said, she was like, everything that happened, it was, oh, it's him, and he the reason, and he's the reason, right? Everything just reminds you of him, and it's like, oh, I just want to punch you in your eye, right? Can we talk? Can we be real on today? Okay. Now, my ex-husband, oh my goodness, you all, I opened myself up to him. I never I never saw I did see myself married as a young girl, right? I think almost every young girl see themselves as a princess and have this wedding, and it's just this big dress and this horse and carriage. Y'all know, it's the Disney effect, right? But when I got older, I think I realized that marriage wasn't for me, or I didn't really want it. At least I convinced myself that I didn't want it because of the lack of strong marriages that I witnessed. I didn't have them around me, but one. I kid you not, literally one successful marriage, one. And out of everybody in my life, all of the adults, all of the examples, one successful marriage as an example. Okay, so when I was asked by my ex-husband to marry him, I accepted. Now, mind you, we were long distance. Okay, so he was down in South Carolina. I was in Chicago, where I'm from, where I originate. Okay, and we had met in high school, so we were almost best friends many years before that. Okay, 10+ years before that, probably 15. Okay, and so we reconnected, obviously, and then just one thing led to another, and I think within a year we were engaged, and then my plan was to leave Chicago and move to South Carolina, which is where he was out of the military, and that's where he returned back home. And I said, listen, it was time for me to leave Chicago anyway, because again, born and raised. At that point, I think I might have been like almost 30 years old, and I said, yeah, it's time for me to go. All right. Because my life in Chicago was lived literally for everybody else. Okay. I was there doing the things, making sure everybody, I just, at some point, you want your own life, right? Like she said, she wanted her freedom. I needed my freedom, and I needed it to be how I wanted it to be, not how my mama wanted it, not how my siblings suggested, not how my dad thought, not how my aunts. No, I don't want my life to look like nobody else's. I wanted it to be for what I needed it to be, right? So I picked up and I left. But see, right before I left Chicago, my family and friends in Chicago threw me a going away / engagement party. And my ex was supposed to be there. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm giving you all the nuggets because these were the signs that I should have paid attention to. Okay. So, and he was supposed to be there. He was supposed to be on a plane and all of this and then the third. And from what I understood, the night before his flight, we were communicating. He had given me information, this and then the third. And then the day of his flight, he's nowhere to be found. I don't get a call. I don't get anything or whatever the case. And I'm panicking. I'm going insane. I done called hospitals. I done called up to the airports. I'm calling the police station. Listen, I had no peace for days because that's exactly how long it took before I heard from him again. Mind you, I attended this going away party by myself, clearly, right? And for some reason, my goofy butt didn't see anything wrong with this, right? When he finally reached out to me, days had passed. Days. When he finally reached out to me, he had I can't even remember the excuse or the reason. I can't even remember. But somehow, clearly, y'all, I excused it. Clearly, I gave a green light. Clearly, I turned a blind eye to it. Okay. So, again, pay attention. Pay attention to what I'm saying, because these were indicators of where I was. All right. People don't see a situation for what it is, they see it from where they are. I'm going to say that again. People don't see any situation for what it is, they see it from where they are. I saw all of the situation from where I was, not for what it was. Okay. Because if I would have seen it for what it was, there's no way in the world I would have left Chicago, because I would have seen it for the load of BS that it was. But anyway, here's the thing: circumstances and situations are used to teach us, okay? Otherwise, these lessons will continue to come across us until we get it, right? I had to get it. So I had to go and do what I had to do. I had to turn the blind eye to the situations and ignore the red flags that people, talk about often. And I readied myself, packed up my whole entire life, my music career, my I was working for the state of Illinois, in my job and stuff like that, my family, all of my friends, everything that I knew, I packed up and I left. And I headed into a direction that I knew not of. Okay. On my way to South Carolina, I stopped in Alabama, which is where my brother lived. He still lives there, but he lives now in another city. I stopped in Birmingham, where he used to be. Okay. And D said, okay, so D on YouTube says, pride, hand, yellow nails. Okay, so that was must be an emoji. Live and learn, trying to be the woman we watch. It's okay. We all have had our variable perch with the same scenery. She said, thank you for holding this space, Miss B. Yes, ma'am, of course. Listen, one thing for sure and two things for certain: I am going to tell the truth, okay? And just because I am where I am today doesn't mean that I didn't have to come from a place, honey. I had to come from a place and go through a journey of healing to get here. Do you understand me? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, honey. We had some days, my love. We've had some journeys. We had some terrains. We've had oh, honey, oh, deserts and valleys and volcanoes and storms, honey. We had it all. Trust me. That's why I always say, y'all, we are only holding each other hand, walking each other home. This here, the exchanges and the sharing. This is why it should not be overlooked, coming together and sharing, because it's not until we share what we have journeyed through will you realize that there's somebody else that is in the same position or needs your strength that you had to carry you through what you had to go through. We need each other, y'all. No life is meant to be lived alone. Somebody else has the answers to the questions that you currently are asking. Why? Because they went through what you're going through right now. But if we're an island unto ourselves, how would we know? How would we ever get it? We need each other. And if you are a closed book and you so worried about what people think about you and how they feel about you and what they gonna say, and listen, they can't say nothing to you that they can't say about their doggone self, okay? Because there's not a person on the face of this earth, walking, talking, living, breathing, seeing, and saying, that has no flaws or have not made some stupid, very stupid choices in life. Hello, somebody. Even from the pulpit to wherever they want to call, wherever they're passing judgment, baby, trust. They can't pass it too far because they got their own stuff going on. Probably currently have it going on. Okay, there you go. Now, I'm just out and proud with mine. I live loud with mine, all right? Because I have nothing to hide. I'm free from that stuff, right? Anybody try to hold my past up to me, baby, you can try. I don't carry shame. That's a low level vibration. I don't carry that. I don't carry guilt and all of that. That's low level stuff. I'm much higher than that. Trust me. Trust me. Okay. Now, here we go. I came and stopped in Birmingham, Alabama, because my brother had just had a baby girl and I had never met her. I make it a duty, you all, to see my nieces and nephews, like see them, hold them, talk to them. They see me, be with me and become familiar with me. I make it a habit of that, right? So She was just turning 1, and I needed to get there. So and Birmingham was on my way from Chicago to Atlanta. I think it was only like 4 or 5 hours between the two, maybe 4 hours between Birmingham and South Carolina where I was going. So I said, okay, cool, stop there. I was only supposed to stop there for not even a week, maybe like a weekend or something like that before I continued on. Why, y'all? When I get there, I go to call my fiance at the time. So I thought, honey, I go to call him, and his great grandmother picked up the line and said, "Oh, he doesn't live here anymore." I said, "Huh? What?" She said, "Oh, yeah, he lives with some other woman, child. He done moved in with a whole nother woman." I said, "Wait, wait, excuse me? Huh? You mean to tell me I have picked up my entire life and this man had a whole nother woman over here in the long distance, y'all? Remember this, long distance, okay?" I said, "You lied to me. I done gave up my singing career, my job with the state of Illinois. I done left my family, friends, everything I knew, y'all, to relocate, to go down to South Carolina to be this man's wife. And in between, ended up learning that he was moved, he had moved in with another woman. You got to be joking me." Oh, you talking about devastated. Honey, you talking about devastated. You talking about hurt. You talking about through. Okay? It's so crazy just listening to the story back. The me now is like, girl, you have had to bump your head on all four sides. Because, y'all, this man still made it to my husband. Okay? I'm trying to understand. Like, me listening to the story is like, girl, I'm so glad I'm not there no more. Listen, DC, honey, I'm so glad I'm not there no more. Y'all, we are some broken people. Do you hear me? We have come from some places. Listen, I put up a post yesterday. Oh God, DC, that is not who I am today. Okay, nowhere near. I mean, old girl. I'm calling her old girl. Old girl is so unfamiliar, right? I put up a post yesterday, and I said, if you follow me, then you've seen it. But I said, your past self is so proud of you right now. Your past self is getting me emotional just thinking about it. To think about how often do you reflect on who you once were? How often do you actually sit down and say, let me just think about what I've been through. Let me think about what I've been through. Let me look at where I came from. How often do you do that? Like, really take inventory. Really take inventory of your journey and how far you've come. Yo, Jesus Christ. Because that girl don't even look familiar to me. I don't know who that chick is. I'm grateful for her though. Am I grateful? I'm grateful for her though. My God. Oh, Sabrina. Sabrina said, Mama B, you have came so far. Listen, to the point where I don't even recognize that chick. I don't know who she is. Because broken down and this and that, though, that is the life of a broken woman. See, but if you all were here, if you're here during these journeys of forgiveness, you all, we went through, I forgive women, I forgive men, I forgive mother, I forgive father, I forgive myself, I forgive this, I forgive that. Let me tell you, we had to go through those journeys and those face those focuses. Why? Because it is some of those issues that led us to make some of the foolish decisions that we made, because we didn't forgive or somebody hurt us and we were shells of human beings but wanted to look like we were all put together. Hello. Golly, man. Self-sabotage is real, y'all. DC say on Clubhouse, part of the work is visualizes how you could have mentored your former self. Come on here. Hence, Spirit allowing me to work in the natural and heal in the supernatural. That part, getting the work done. Who you are today, you are reaching us. Thank you. Listen, I thank you. I thank you because, honey, I could not actually sit here and have these conversations if I back in that day. Who I'm speaking to. Listen, if I were still there, if we reverse time, who listen, and I'm saying it like who am I having who I'm talking to? Baby, nobody, not a soul. And it not be false. How many of those do we have out here? How many people do we have out here still living in these circumstances, right? Still going through this stuff and still living and trying to stand up in front of people and trying to guide and teach people, but yet you yourself still struggling through the stuff you're trying to teach people through. Hello, somebody. Let's talk about it. Sabrina on Clubhouse says, Mama B, you have me wanting to cry right here because I'm thinking back on my old self and just knowing what she went through. I swear, looking back on old selves is so rewarding, but so unknown because who was she? Who was he? Listen, it teaches you grace. Golly, that thing. Listen, if we are really real, right? If we're really real, it teaches you grace. It teaches you mercy. It teaches you compassion because who we could be judging today was once us yesterday. I need us to really, y'all, because this thing is thick. This thing is so real. These is a child, you so good. I forgot to put. Listen, come on. Who we want to judge today could have been us yesterday. Or did we forget? Come on, we talking about forgiveness here. We're talking about love. We're talking about compassion. We're talking about grace and mercy. We're talking about the situations that we went through and how it taught us instead of harmed us. What we thought was a beat down ended up being a leg up. Okay? Come on here. It's all in your perspective. Because we see things from where we are, not from what it is. But if you change your perspective, then you can see the situation for what it is and you can garner the nuggets that it is trying to give to you. Or you can go through the process over and over again until you get it. All right. DC say she had to put her chicken in the oven and forgot. She said it's so good. I forgot my chicken nuggets, girl. Don't forget the nuggets, girl. Before you have some pebbles in the oven, okay? Listen, we're talking about forgiveness here, y'all. And we ain't just talking about, oh, you just gotta pray about it or forgive. No, we talking about doing the ugly work. We talking about ugly work. Okay, she said no nuggets, real chicken. Or what, honey? Child, they gonna look like some old, huh? don't mess up the good Sunday church bird. Okay, don't mess that up. Okay, don't mess it up. Listen, we talking about real forgiveness here. This ain't that calm over pseudo forgiveness. No, this is radical forgiveness. This is crazy. Like, I know you ain't finna forgive this. I know you ain't finna just let that joker walk. I know you ain't finna let them skate. I know you ain't about to just let them off scot-free. I know you got to. I know you gonna get some get back. I know, right? Because see, the feelings that we feel, we have every right to feel them, y'all. We got every right to feel them. Because the stuff happened. Okay? But let's change the perspective. Because it's not about what they did to us. It's about what we allowed to be done to ourselves. Okay? And the only way that we can allow some things is because of us being in a certain space, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Come on here. Now, again, let me get back to the story. That man, yes, DC said yes, taking our personal permission back. Yes, taking it back. Let's get back to the story. So he had moved in with a whole nother woman. Okay. And here I am with my whole Libra butt. I'm Libra in 5 placements. Okay. I have a whole Libra stellium, which means I'm Libra for real. And if you know what a Libra for real means, that means that we are big people pleasers. Oh, we accept things, we overlook things, we forgive things because we don't like to ruffle feathers. We don't like when people mad with us. We don't like confrontation. We don't like all that stuff. So we end up allowing things to take place at the expense of our own selves. That is a Libra. Okay? That's a Libra. And the reason that we do it is because we just want everybody to get along. We just want love. We just want beauty. We just want light. We just want, okay, we just want all the good things, honeysuckles, gumdrops, lemon drops. We just want all the good things. We don't want to deal with all of the other. We just want everything to be so pretty and glitz and glam. We just want the good stuff, y'all, okay? That's what we want. And we're willing to go through whatever. We'll swallow whatever. We won't say stuff and all of this stuff. Oh, that was me. Talk about throat chakra being blocked, shut, closed, shut down for business. Okay, blocked, right? Not only that, talk about solar plexus out of whack, out of order. Okay, come back in 15, shut down, out of order. Okay, talk about foundation, especially when you that root chakra, especially when you didn't have the people to tell you what is love and what is confidence and what is self-esteem and what is this and what is that. I didn't have that. I didn't have that from the man side or the woman side. So what am I? I'm sitting here feeling I'm walking around blind, feeling my way around. Keep in mind, remember I said this at the top of the story, the only successful marriage that I saw was one. It was my aunt and my uncle. So when I thought marriage, I thought my aunt. When I thought husband, I thought my uncle. So I was in the process of becoming something. I'm thinking that as a wife to be, I got to learn forgiveness, because when you get married, right? When you get married, you say things like, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, to death do us part. So you overlook some things in marriage. Y'all could, it ain't nothing that can't be worked out. And I was under the covering of Christianity, which says, God hate divorce. Come on here. I'm talking about bondage on all sides. I'm talking about conditioning on all sides. Okay, so I was up under the covering of Christianity, which says God hates divorce. God loves family and marriage and this and the third, and what God joins together, let no man put asunder, and all of the things, y'all. All of the things which cause me to justify, excuse, and enable certain behaviors, right? Because maybe this is a test. This is what I saw those certain circumstances as. Or maybe this is a test. Maybe this is just to see if I'm ready for marriage. Because, when I get in marriage, it's going to be some hard things that I'm going to have to be able to endure. Maybe this is a test. Maybe this is my first lesson in being a wife, because I learned that you got to be a wife before you become one. So this is my training ground right here. I ain't going to give up. I ain't going to quit. Sure enough, I stayed in the situation. This man had left, abandoned, jumped ship, went AWOL out of the engagement, went and lived with a whole nother woman. And instead of me cutting my losses, okay, that one weekend or 1 week that I was in Birmingham ended up being 6 months because I can't, what I'm going back to Chicago for? I gave up everything for this joker, right? And check this out. Keep in mind, look at who was the only one making the sacrifices. Huh? Look at who was the only one making the sacrifices. I was making the sacrifices out of my own desire, my own need, my own voids, my own, lack of understanding, my own low self-esteem, my own need to feel needed, my own, come on here. Okay, here we go. And as long as you're doing the chasing, you're going to always be the one chasing. As long as that's what you're accepting, especially in the beginning, then that's what it's going to be. Okay? So I was in Birmingham for 6 months. I'm trying to find a way, trying to make my home in Birmingham. It just wasn't working. Why? Because that's not where I was supposed to be. So I said, you know what? I left Chicago to head to South Carolina. I'm going to go on and finish up and go to South Carolina myself. Forget what he talking about. It is what it is. Whenever he get himself together, it is what it is, right? I had already let that whole situation go, and I think at that point we were back being cordial, but we understood that the engagement for that time was off. I said I left Chicago to go to South Carolina. I'm going to continue my journey on my own. It is what it is. So I continued my journey, found an apartment, 1 bedroom, all inclusive. I was happy about that. I bought a car cash in Birmingham. Okay. So I was starting fresh. I said, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna see it through. You gotta see it through, my boy. You gotta see it through. Okay. So I saw it through and I went on. And so the day that I got there, I had an interview set up. I did the first portion of the interview online. The second interview was the very day that I moved there. I moved in. My brother and I moved myself into my apartment. I went that afternoon to go to the second orientation, the job orientation. Got my schedule, all of that stuff. Got a job, so I'm focused, right? I still wasn't healed though. I was focused, still wasn't healed. See, I talked to my baby sister and my mother about this several times. And I said, you all know what? One thing about us women, I noticed a pattern in our family on my mama's side. I noticed a pattern about the women in our family. And I noticed that we are highly disciplined in work, highly disciplined in home and with our families and support and being there for one another and stuff like that. We're gonna look out for it for our family members and whatnot. Highly different discipline in our talents and our skills and stuff like that. But when it comes down to relationships, we were about as dumb as doorknobs. And I ain't talking about just me. I'm talking about all the women in my mama's side of the family. Because the stuff that I was dealing with, guess what? We all had some form of foolishness when it came down to the relationships that we found ourselves in. And as a result, or that was a result of us not understanding who we are, as women, as queens, as goddesses, we didn't have that. We were taught to be what we ended up being. That's all we knew. That's all my mama knew. That's all her mama knew. That's all, dealing with stuff. My grandmother went through abuse and physical abuse and emotional abuse and verbal abuse and this and the third and stayed. Huh? Can we talk about generational trauma? Can we talk about that, please? And stayed. We talked now last week. We said I forgive men last week, right? So in that forgiving men, we had to forgive some of our aunts and some of our mamas and some of our grandmamas because they're the ones that taught us what to accept from men by what they accepted. Because we're children watching this. And if they accepted it, then surely it's good enough for me. Surely I can do the same thing. And we wonder why we're in these specific situations, because look at the examples that were set for us. We don't know anything outside of that. Thank you, D. Thank you. D on YouTube said I'm sharing this link. Thank you, honey. We don't know anything outside of that. You cannot expect an apple to produce orange juice if apple is all it is. Apple is all that's been around. Apple is what was raised by. It was raised by. Apple is all it produces. It's only going to give you apple juice, honey. You cannot expect an apple to give you orange juice. Okay? That's all I knew. That's all I knew. So my work, I was focused. My home, found a place, paid for it all of it. It was all paid in full by the time before I even touched down. The only thing I needed to do was sign a lease and grab my key. I was that focused. I am still that focused. I'm a Capricorn moon. I don't play. Okay. Now, but that day, I finished the second orientation, got my uniform and the whole 9 yards. I'm on a whole clean slate. I don't know anybody here. I was coming to be with him, right? So here I am, a whole fish out of water. I don't know anybody here. I don't have no friends, family. I'm totally disconnected from anything familiar. Out here on my own. But right there is where spirit needs you to be, right? Out on your own, without the outer influence. Because see, I was already influenced with the familiar. That's the thing. Spirit needs to get me to myself. Isolation. Come on, hermit card. Get me to myself so that I can unlearn some of the stuff that was programmed in me. But it took me going through my process in order to do that. You cannot heal in the same area that broke you. Let me say that again. You cannot heal in the same environment where you were broken. It's impossible. You have to be detached from that and brought into a place of isolation so that you can be purged. All of that stuff you got to unlearn. Now you got to relearn. And it took me being on my own to do that. Now, mind you, it took a minute because there was some deep-seated, again, some of these learned behaviors was learned from birth, right? I was doggone near 30 going out into this realm. Come on here. So that was a lot of unlearning that needed to happen. A whole lot of unlearning. It took a minute. It took a minute to get there, to get programmed. It was not going to be overnight to get it deprogrammed, okay? So I get there, and when I get there, he catches wind of that. He learns about it. He reaches out to me, and he says, "You're here?" I said, "Yes, I'm here." He said, "You lying. No, you're not. You know you're not. You're not here." I said, "Yes, I am here." "Are you serious?" Sure enough, I don't know if it was that day. I can't remember the details specifically, but I don't know if it was that day or the day after. But I ended up driving to where he was because he didn't have a working car. Again, check out who's making the sacrifices, y'all. Okay? Me. So, and I think he was about 45 minutes away from me at that point. So I drove to where he was. He sees me. He's like, "Wow, man, I can't believe you." At this point, him and whoever he was staying with, they're not staying together no more. I didn't realize that. I didn't know he was back where, his great grandmother was. So he gets back there and all of this stuff. So, because hey, you'd moved on, you went somewhere else. So I'm doing me at this point. When he sees that I'm physically there, now he wants to start the process of recording me. Okay, if that's a word. Now you want to record. Now you want to, get back in tight communication. Now mind you, I don't even recall if he ever apologized for that process. But see, I also don't recall if I required him to. Look who's making the sacrifices, y'all. Pay attention to this, okay? Pay attention to this. You're talking about a broken woman who did not know who she was, right? Did not know who she was. Now, going from there, We were just hanging out and stuff like that. He's cooking and we going on dates or whatever the case. And then now we're back in each other's good graces. I get a call. I'm at work one day and I get a call from his great grandmother, and something happened at their house and she asked if he can stay with me. Now, mind you, I got a one bedroom on purpose. One bedroom on purpose for one bed, one me. Okay. And I wasn't thinking about sharing that apartment with nobody else. Sure enough, here I am, Miss Libra. Gotta look out for everybody. Gotta make sure everybody's good. Gotta love on everybody. Gotta help everybody, right? At my own expense. Sure enough, I said, no problem. After I got off work, I pulled up with my car, my paid for car that I paid for from my job that I was working. He was not working at nothing at the time, y'all. Okay, nothing. Listen to this story. Lord have mercy. The more I tell it, I'm like, my God, today, girl, what is wrong? Okay, again, this is a reflection on where I once was versus where I am today. Jesus, because none of this is going down today. Baby, not a bit of this is happening today. Okay, don't even play with me. All right, now, whoa. So I leave my job for the day. Only source of income, y'all. I leave my job. I pull up at his place, and my car. Look, DC said, "Child, it's juicy." Baby, honey, juicy. You understand? I pull up to his grandmother's house in my paid for car. He's sitting on the back porch, y'all, with literally, and I kid you not, I am not exaggerating any form of this statement, with 5 black garbage bags full of his possessions. That's all he had to his name. Put it in my car. I drove him to my house. Okay? Now, what we about to do, okay? What we about to do, playhouse. I'm about to see about dressing this mess up, this filth up, and calling it beauty. Okay? Because y'all know women, come on now. Let's not play. We know how to dress something up and make it seem like it's something else, right? Okay, or convince ourselves of the sort. Baby, every day, every day, every day. Okay. DC say this better than my yellow jasmine rice I'm putting on now. Like she said, child, I'm invested in this story. Had to invest it, daughter. Okay. So it's just a little story time, okay? But we're talking about forgiveness, y'all. We're talking about forgiving my partner or my ex-partner. That's what we're talking about, okay? Sure enough, every day I'm still going to work. I come home, he's not working. Every day he's going out and he's because I gotta believe what he says. He's going out and he find a job. So I lived in my apartment was right on the strip of some strip malls and stores and whole big malls and all of that stuff. So there was no excuse. No excuse. I found my job online, okay, from a whole other state. Did a first interview from a whole other state. I know surely you ain't got no excuse, okay? Now, this was early 2000, early 2000. Okay, so now, every day I'm coming home. I'm the only one making the money. I'm buying the groceries. There was no public assistance whatsoever. It was all coming out of my money. Plus, I was still getting residual from Chicago. Okay, so I had that money coming in monthly, and I had my current check coming. At that time, baby. So anything that was happening in that house, furniture wise, food wise, utilities, rent, or whatever, it was me, myself, and I paying. And yet it was 2 whole, well-bodied, full-grown people living there. Okay. So I would say about 6 months in, he still hadn't found a job. So, but I also see that he's discouraged. Okay, what I tell you about Libras, we want everybody to be okay, even at our own expense. So what did I do? Trying to be a support, trying to show him that I'm a good wife to be. I put myself on a FMLA. If you know what an FMLA is, that is a family leave of absence, or a emergency leave of absence from your job. Okay, I put myself on a FMLA at my job so that I can go with him to his interviews and to his this and to his that, so he can be, I can be the first person he see when he come out of the interview, last person he see when he go in, because I want to be there to support, and I want to be there to cheerlead him on and encourage him through it all, and this and then the third, because I want to show him that I'm a good wife to be. Honey. And then we went on several of his interviews and stuff like that, and he ended up eventually getting a job. I go back to work. Okay. Honey, he had my car. Ended up, long story short, me and him on one car. Broke the car down. Okay. So we ended up transporting on bus. His child, he has two children. So his eldest son ended up moving down with us from California. So now I got to find us a bigger place, found us a bigger home. Made the house, tried to make a house a home, ended up having to move to a bigger place, and whatever the case. So this is the story. It was a journey. It was a journey of trying to make things work, but it was always something falling short. Always. Mind you, he dealt with huge anger issues. Former military. A lot of, if you're listening and you're military, then you know that a lot of former military vets suffer from PTSD and a lot of other mental matters, emotional matters, or whatever the case. He suffered from PTSD and on paper bipolar. Anger issues. Not only that, I've known him since high school, and I knew the situation that he was in. He had a father, had a father. I don't know. I doubt if his father does this still to this day, and I hope he doesn't. But his father was verbally abusive, physically abusive. Okay, had a mother. Rest in peace to her. She transitioned a few years back, but had a mother that battled with drug abuse. Okay. So, and he hadn't seen her, according to him, since he was 13 years old. So he was dealing with a lot of stuff, man. Not to mention that when I met him, he wasn't with his mother nor his father. Okay, he was living with an aunt who was determined to see him finish school and do this and then the third, and all of this stuff. So he had issues before going into the military, and then you got the military. Those issues came all onto them. They were all, they came by themselves. That's a whole new set of issues. If you are military or former military, you know. Because the things that you have to face, the military's goal is to break the civilian self off of you. They want your GI, so they have to shape you into the soldier that they want you to be. They got to break your whole sensitivity. They got to desensitize you to put you in the military mindset, a soldier mindset. They got to get you ready for war, right? So all of the stuff that you used to feel, you can't feel, because it could cost you your life or your soldier's life or your platoon's life or your battalion's life. You know what I'm saying? Sabrina says on Clubhouse, she said, isn't that the truth? I'm still trying to come back to my civilian self. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And you've been out, what, about a year or two? You see what I'm saying? It's not like a light switch. Once you're out, you're just like, okay, I'm out of the military. Okay, I'm back to normal life. No, ma'am. No, sir. It is a mental game. It is an emotional game. It is a physical game. I know people that's been out of the military for 30 years and they still waking up in cold sweats. They still swinging in their sleep, okay? They still are jerking and jumping when they hear something popping or something around them. Come on now. Sabrina said, yes, it's something that takes time, right? These are issues that he was dealing with, not to mention he himself had a substance abuse issue. This I didn't know until I was in the dynamic with him. He had a substance abuse issue. He had an alcohol issue. These are ways that he utilized to cope with the stuff that was happening mentally and emotionally in him. Things that I couldn't do nothing about. But I tried because I'm a Libra. I tried to take on everything. So you all know that when a person who's dealing with all of that emotionally and mentally, they dealing with all of that stuff, and you are the only person right there in the vicinity, come on now, you know you're going to take the grunt of all of that frustration that they got pent up in them. Anything that their mind is telling them or their emotions are making them feel, you are going to be the target. And baby, just as sure as my name is what it is, I was. That man, every chance he got, whenever he was upset, frustrated, annoyed, that man tore up everything in the house. Walls, doors off the hinges, threshold coverings falling off, punching holes in the wall, tearing up, throwing stuff, tossing stuff out. Baby, he hit and punched everything in that house but me. You know why? Because I'm convinced he might have been crazy, but he was not stupid. Because, baby, I will end your whole existence, okay? I will remove your air from your chest. Listen, I might have had some issues now. I might have had some low self-esteem and all that stuff. But, baby, one thing my grandma taught me is tote a Glock, okay? Hello? Don't ever get it twisted. I take your air from your chest, okay? I don't fight no man, period, okay? Now, and that part I think he knew. He knew exactly how far he could go. But I also noticed that he never did it with anybody except for me. He didn't do it with the other men. He only did it with me. But I also spoke to his former wife. Because, see, I was his second wife. His first wife, and I finally had some conversation. And she shared some things with me because, see, now we got his son, right? So she shared some things with me, and some of the stories that she shared with me were very similar to what I was experiencing. It's wisdom, y'all, to talk to the ex. It's wisdom. It ain't gotta be on no catty stuff. Matter of fact, y'all can have conversations with the person in the room or on the line, but it's just conversation. It's foolish to go into a new dynamic and you don't know what the dynamic was that they just came from. It's foolish. You understand? Do your homework. Be wise. Because, see, we women, we're very emotional. We make decisions emotionally. Okay? But that common sense is often checked out. It's often checked out. Or here's another thing. They are showing us plain signs, but we're blind to it, or we make excuses for them because, again, what did I say at the top of the segment? We see a situation for where we are, not for what it is. So because we may be desperate to have something or longing for something, or we just need this, or we want somebody to fill a void of ours, we will use that need or that low self-esteem or that self-sabotage will speak much louder than the obvious that's in your face. I dealt with that behavior, y'all, and it grew worse and worse every year. I dealt with that behavior for a total of 9 years. Much like how this young lady in the book, she says, y'all, she was with her husband for 23 years. Ain't nowhere in the world. I was 23. Who, where? Who? Baby, not I, said the cat. Who finna deal with that for 20? Not me. It's true. It's a mess that I dealt with it for 9. Okay. But much like how she said in her story, she said she knew that relationship was complete after 6 months, but she stayed. She stayed for the kids. She stayed for convenience. She stayed for the provision. She stayed for whatever her reasons were. She stayed and made excuse after excuse. Do you know how many excuses you got to make to stay in a troubled situation for 23 years? Do you know how many lies you got to tell and how many lies you got to tell yourself to make you believe that what you saying has got some sense to it? Do you all know how many birthdays I spent by myself? Do you all know how many times I had to go to a hospital because of some issue that I'm dealing with, or had to go, yeah, and I had to be there by myself overnight by myself? Do you all know how many issues I dealt with regards to how many days I had to deal with him walking around the house silent treatment, and I don't know what's going on because nothing has happened, but he's stomping around the house, slamming doors and giving a silent treatment for days. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening? And the moment, because I'm a Libra, so I'm unsettled. I don't know what's going on, and I just want to fix it, right? Because one thing about a Libra, we don't like to be out of balance. Oh no, whether it's us or our environment, we can't stand it. What do I need to do to fix this? Because I need my environment to be back right. So I would ask him, what's the matter? And he would blow his gasket. Okay. And I'm sitting up here like, well, I just asked what's going. It wouldn't take nothing. I could blow in his direction, baby, and he would lose it. That tempo was off the chain. Many days he came close to being taken up out of here by my brothers, by my daddy, by my mama. Many days. Many days. Okay? Many days. We had a son together, and my son didn't make it, okay? My son didn't make it, and it took me a very long time to not blame him for that. Oh, I held him. I held him in contempt. I held him because the night before I went into labor prematurely, the night before, we had a blowout over something real silly. Because oftentimes it was about something, it was about absolutely nothing. We literally ended our relationship on popcorn, literally about popcorn. I kid y'all not. Okay. Literally. And I blamed him. I blamed him. I blamed him for because I felt like, well, if I wasn't into it, we wasn't into it last night, I wouldn't have felt, I wouldn't have, and baby feels everything mommy feels, whether it's hurt, stress, overwhelming, anxiety, whatever the case, baby feels everything, sadness, baby feels everything mommy feels. Okay? Okay, DC, baby feels everything mommy feels. And I blamed him. Oh, I blamed him. I blamed him. He may not have known it, but I blamed him. Oh my God, I could have fought him. I could have fought him, but I blamed him. Because here's my opportunity to be a mom. And I've been robbed of this. Now you got your 2 kids living, okay? Here's my opportunity to be a mom, and I was robbed. Okay? And even during the coping with it, he gave me hell, man. To the point where my aunt, my mom's baby sister, had to call him and say, you got to be supportive. This woman just had a child and was not able to walk away from the hospital with the baby. Why are you doing this? Why are you acting like this? People would come to the house. He would be very ugly, very mean, very standoffish. I'm talking about that was the attitude. And he was upset because his job would send, sympathy cards and packets to me, and all of that stuff, taking care of sending sympathy to us, but also to me, because hello, our bodies are the bodies that's carrying these babies now, okay? And he snapped one day Because he's like, man, they acting like you the only one lost a child. I lost a child too. And da 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 da. See, man, see, I was like, whoa. Meanwhile, if you all know, because I wrote about it in my book, if you have my book, then you know. But the brief breakdown of my son leaving here, y'all, I had to naturally deliver him, but I wasn't even conscious. I wasn't even breathing. I didn't even have a pulse. I lost my pulse 3 times during that delivery. My blood pressure was so faint that it was almost not even existing, to the point where they couldn't give me any pain meds, because if they did, I would have been gone completely out of here. Okay? I had to deliver my son and didn't even know he was being delivered, only to wake up and come back to consciousness and to see my son being closed into a pathology lab bucket. And 2 months later, for 2 months, I was wrapped in the sheet that my son was born in, stuck on the sofa. I was emotionally and mentally not there. So to have to deal with my own emotions and then got to deal with him too. Oh, baby. It was not good. It was not good at all. You're asking someone who was not emotionally there to help you cope with your emotions. You're asking someone emotionally unavailable to display them with you and for you. No, it's impossible. When I tell y'all I went through it, I went through it. I went through it. And again, it got worse and worse and worse, year after year after year. My son was delivered in 2011. Okay. He would have been 12 this year. He was delivered in 2011. We separated in 2015. And what happened was, the morning of our separation, he used to do IT. He probably still does. I hope he does, because he was great at it. But he used to do IT and work on people's computers and stuff like that, sell laptops and whatnot. And he had sold someone a laptop and had to send them his charger to the laptop, because the laptop charger that went with that particular computer had a faulty wire in it. So he sent them theirs, being good customer service, you know. And so I told him, I said, well, you can take mine. If you all know that I was in the beauty industry. So yes, I had a laptop, but I'm not on my laptop all day because I'm doing clients. And I said, well, you can utilize mine, okay, during the day. And then when I come home at night, I'll just plug my laptop up. I'll keep it charged overnight, and then we'll go from there. You know, I'll be good. Listen, me trying to help, trying to be of assistance, trying to support. He got angry. He took the laptop charger and the cord and he wrapped it up and he tossed it in my work bag. And I said, what are you doing? I said, no. I said, you can keep it, hold on to it and charge it, you know. No, you keep it. And I said, no. I said, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. When I said that, I'm not stupid. I understood what you said. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I said, whoa, okay. I said, I don't know what this is. It had been about 7 a.m. I said, I don't know what just happened, but I'm going to leave it alone. I went upstairs and I was about to start getting ready for work. Honey, I walked in our bedroom. I had just closed the door behind me. And I just passed the door's threshold inside of the bedroom, only to feel a gush of wind and the door frame fall past me on the floor. This man followed me up the stairs and kicked the door in. He could have literally just opened the doorknob, okay? I'm just saying, it was just real dramatic, okay? But he kicked the door in, and the whole door and threshold came flying past me, just missing me. And I'm like, what? So he jumps in my face, pointing in my face, you know, doggone near touching me, and said, F you, F this marriage. Now, mind you, I heard that many times before, okay? When you're dealing with somebody with imbalanced emotions, it's always going to be some dramatic, whatever. So I heard that several times before. F you, F this marriage. I'm done. F this, da. Whoa. The only difference is, between every other time and that time, I had decided within myself that that was it for me. Because, see, people will only do what you allow them to do. We teach people how to treat us by what we allow. Okay. And for those years, I allowed that behavior. In that moment, I had decided no more. So when he started saying F you and F this marriage, I simply responded, okay. Oh, child, that he said, what? What? Oh. So we done. Oh, so now you want to be done. Oh, so now you don't want. I said no. You said it. I'm giving you what you asked for. I'm giving you what you want. Oh, so you don't want to be married no more, huh? Oh, so I said no. You said you were done. I'm simply granting your request. Okay. Well, F you then. F you. Woo, woo, woo. I'm talking about went off. So he leaves that room. He goes in the hallway. He punches the hall closet door, knocks a hole in it and knock it off the hinges. He goes into one of our third bedroom, punches the wall, punches a hole in the wall. He grabs and I'm talking about while he doing all of this, I'm every name under the sun. I'm every this, every that. I'm talking about he going crazy. I'm not saying a word because in that moment I had already decided I'm done. I am DONE. Okay, we're talking about forgiving our ex, forgiving our ex-partners. Okay, forgiving our current partners or our ex-partners, right? So he goes downstairs. He's punching holes again. He's laughing at me. I'm on every name. You would have never thought that this person could have ever uttered the words "I love you" to me, ever, 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 because he in an instant turned into a complete cold stranger that was evil and just mean and just it was horrible, absolutely horrible. The stuff that he was saying out of his mouth about me and to me, it was insane. Laughing in my face and it was crazy. Now, if you know me and you know when somebody had enough and when they get quiet, that is not the time you want to mess with somebody, okay? When that person gets quiet, when they don't have any arguments anymore, when they not yelling with you, when they not fighting back with you, and they just get quiet, oh yeah, you might wanna go on and back up. Okay, you might want to leave this person alone because it's a switch that's on the verge of going off in their head. Okay, you might want to leave. You don't know what you're capable of. There's a whole TV show called Snapped, right? And it's full of episodes and stories about people that just all of a sudden, because one thing just took them over the edge and they just snapped. And now they doing life in prison because they done took somebody's life. Because somebody just kept pushing and kept poking and kept pushing and kept poking. Another thing that he used to do is threaten suicide all the time. Okay, all the time, and it was almost like an emotional manipulation because he knew that I would be rallying for him to live and no and don't do that and no let's talk about it. That was me, Libra, y'all. Oh God. Heal, people, okay? Heal. Just because those are Libra traits don't mean that you have to fall prey to those Libra traits all the time. Those are your traits. Those are your lower vibrating traits. Elevate them, okay? Tighten them up because, baby, you're going to be ruled by that stuff if you don't. That particular day, I walked down those stairs. I don't even remember if I showered. I don't remember nothing. I just remember having clothes on. I went down the stairs and I remember going into the kitchen. He was in the kitchen. I walked into the kitchen to do something, and he had turned around to me with a knife to his throat. I stab myself now. I kill myself right now. I do it right now. I do it right now. Baby, I looked at him and looked past him, okay? Because, baby, you've been killing yourself for the last 7 to 9 years and you ain't did it yet, honey. Move, okay? But in my mind, I go to the kitchen. I go to the sink. I do whatever. I put whatever in the sink, I guess. And then I step back, y'all. And if you know me, spiritually speaking, I'm a seer. So I get premonitions and I see things before it happens by way of astral projection, premonitions by way of dreams or whatever case. So I get that. I didn't realize that trait was cultivated. I didn't know what it was then either. But yeah, honey, I stepped back. I took one step back and I looked at the floor. And I saw, just as clear as me sitting here now, I saw him laying in the kitchen floor in a pool of his blood and me standing over him. I saw it clear. And when I saw it that clear, I said, yeah, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. So I grabbed my bag and I walked out the door. Okay. I walked out the door and I stood on the other side of the door and I looked up at the sky and I said, God, I know you are better than this. I know you are better than this. I said, I refuse to believe that this is your best for me. I won't believe it. I won't believe it. I said, I know that, I was taught that divorce is not of you and you don't like divorce and this and then the third. I said, but I can't stay in this another day. I said, if what I'm about to do is not of your will, forgive me now. Because I got to get off this train. I can't do this no more. I said it clear as day. I'm talking about me in the sky. Okay? I stepped back into that house. He was sitting on the sofa at this point. I'm going to say this exactly how it happened, you all. So forgive my language if you listening and you're sensitive about words, okay? I stepped back in my house. He was sitting on the sofa. I called his full government name. I said, I love you to your core. I said, but I love me more. His response, whatever, bitch. And I'm talking in this tone, just like this. I said, when we got married, I said, we promised to love, honor, cherish, be secure, protective, and all of that. He said, whatever, bitch. I said, but you the one I need the security from. Whatever, bitch. I said, I need you gone by the end of the day. I said, I don't ever want to see your face again. His response, whatever, bitch. I said, but you heard what I said though, right? Okay. I stepped out the door and I went and I got in the car. I was getting in the car. He opens the door and he threatened to do something with my father or whatever the case at the time. And and I stepped out of that car just as smooth as I got in there. I stepped out and I said, okay, so he threatened. My dad was on probation at the time. He said, that's why I'm about to call the people on you and tell them where your daddy is. I stepped out that car and I said, okay. And who would you like me to call to tell them where you gonna be? Because somebody gonna need to identify you. He stepped back in that house and closed that door just as smooth as he opened it. That's what I thought. Again, you might be crazy, but you ain't stupid. Okay? I got in the car and I went on to work. About 4 hours later, he calls my phone. And I answer the phone. I say, yeah. He says, hey, this is how I know it's full bipolarism, okay? Because he said, hey, I called a ride. And I mean, it was as if nothing just happened. His tone was like very friendly and it was like, whoa, Twilight Zone stuff, okay? So he says, I called a ride and, they said that they can't be here until tomorrow, at 4:00. I was wondering if it's okay if I could stay, tonight, if that's okay. I said, I don't care what you do. I said, I told you, I don't want to see your face again. I meant what I said. I said, if you're there, I'm not going to be there. See, the pattern before would be this, right? We argue, we get into it, it go crazy, he go crazy, and we talk about it that night, all is forgiven, kiss and make up, and then we back to our regular pattern. That was the pattern. Over 9 years, that was the pattern. Okay? That day, again, I decided no more. See, at some point, you have to decide no more. My coach, Bianca, the author of this book, she said, you're not tired enough. You're not tired enough. She put out a video here recently. She says, you're not tired enough. Because if you were tired, like really tired, you would decide to be out of that situation. You would decide to be away from that job. You would decide to be out of that toxic relationship. You would decide to be away from those toxic friends and people. You would decide to be away from those toxic family members. You ain't tired enough. You would decide to be out of your situation. You would decide to be out of that low self-esteem, that low feeling, that low place in mentally, emotionally. You would make a decision, but you ain't tired enough. See, you got to be tired to make a difference, to make a change. And for 9 years, I wasn't tired enough. I was frustrated. I was hurt. I was angry. I was sad. I was suffering from anxiety, all of that stuff, but I wasn't tired enough. Why? Because I stayed there. It was in that day, on that day, in the moment that I decided that that's enough, I was tired. I was tired. Only when you're tired of being in that same place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, only when you're tired will you decide to do something different. I had gotten tired that day, and I chose something different. Sure enough, I ended up staying at my baby sister's place. I had to go to Walmart to get a toothbrush and clean drawers and new clothes. And listen here, okay? D on YouTube said, yes, getting tired enough will, yes, you have to be tired enough, okay? You have to be tired enough. I went and bought all new things to tide me over until the next day when he said he was gone. Not only that, I contacted my landlord at the time who lived in the next townhouse next to us. We shared a wall. Okay. Yes. She says, you got to be tired enough. And because that will make you improve your thought process. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So I called the landlord and I told him everything that just happened. Everything. You know why he believed me at first sound? Because through the wall, he hears everything. He heard everything. He just didn't see the damage. I told him all about all the damages and everything. And sure enough, he said, hold on, Miss B. Hold on. I'm about to walk over there now. He said, I got you in my ear. Stay right there because I really want to hear what he got to say. And I want to see my house, right? So he knocked on the door. Sure enough, my ex-husband opened the door. Hey, man, what's going on? What's up? He says, yeah, listen, I just want to come over here and check on some things. I need to check the filters and da-da-da-da-da, woo. Oh, yeah, come on in. He comes in, and sure enough, he walks through the whole house. Everywhere where I told him the damage, my ex-husband did the damage, he saw it, and it was confirmed. He asked my ex-husband, what happened here? What happened there? What happened? Oh man, I fell. I'm talking about he was quick with the lies, quick with it. When he finished canvassing the house, he stood at the front door. He says, "Listen," he says, "I came to you to see if you would be a man about it." He said, "You lied to me." He said, "I got Miss B on my ear. She told me everything. I was hoping to see if you would actually admit to the process." He says, she also told me that you're supposed to be leaving at 4:00. This was the next day. He said, she also told me that you're supposed to be leaving at 4:00 today. He says, I need you gone. He says, you need to be off my property by 4:00. He said, and I mean at 4:01 and you still here, we're going to have us a problem. My ex-husband. Oh, so you just gonna believe her? Believe? He said, no, I don't have. He said, it's not that I believe her. He said, the fact is, she's telling me the truth because I hear you through the wall. He said, I hear how you talk to her. I hear how you treat her. I hear it. So there's nothing you can say. He said, you need to be gone. 4 o'clock. Sure enough, sure enough, he got his stuff and he left. But let me tell you, he texted me, my ex-husband, he texted me and says, I'm gone. I said, okay, cool. My landlord, he says he's gone. Okay, cool. By the time I get to that back to that townhouse, you all, when I tell you that man damaged that house, he had trash everywhere. You all, I kid you not. I kid you not. There, no part of this story is exaggerated. I wish it was. I do wish it was. But it took me 4 days to clean that house up. It took me 4 days straight. I took off work and everything. It took me 4 days. 4 days. 4 days to clean that house up. Oh yes, I'm seeing these comments over in the chat on Clubhouse. Sabrina say, "Oh, Mama B not calling you." He did. Yes, he did. Yes, she said, check that. She said you created that boundary, and I bet he didn't like it. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. People don't like when you create boundaries. What are those? What are those? Don't nobody like when you create a boundary. No, ma'am. How dare you tell me that I can't use you anymore? How dare you tell me that I can't manipulate you no more? How dare who do you think you are telling me that I can't control you no more? Who do you think you are? Right? If you follow me, you saw that I posted a quote just last night or this morning, early this morning, where I said, whatever can command your peace will always be your commander. Will always be your commander. And I followed it with this: people, places, or things that have the power to alter our mood and usher in calm or mayhem are in a position of authority over us and exert influence over us through the choices we make and the thoughts we entertain. Notice I didn't say the people that control you and exert power, they do that by the choices that they make or the thoughts that they have. No. The choices we make and the thoughts that we entertain. Okay? DC on Clubhouse say, now we see it turns out sweeter than these cookies I'm baking. She said, you have removed the bitter they call unforgiving, period. Okay? Now, on this post, I went on to say, when an outside force can decide whether or not our peaceful existence is guaranteed, that person or thing exercises significant control over our lives. For instance, a stressful or chaotic work environment that one's boss creates may have an impact on both emotions and actions during our working hours. This boss keeps their grip on you because they have power over your emotions and your work output. You may feel anxious, stressed out, and on edge, all of which reduces your productivity and your ability to make decisions. I said, but what about the people we actually know and care about? If you are around someone who has a lot of conflict and drama in their life, for instance, they may be able to influence how you feel and what you do. To avoid conflict and keep the peace, you would have to constantly try to please them, leaving you with a sense of helplessness and dependence on them. I said, it is so important. It is with the utmost importance that we are aware of the people who have the capacity to change our emotional state, as well as to bring either chaos or peace into our lives and the relationships that we have with them. When we are self-aware, listen, when we are self-aware and aware of the dynamics of a situation, we are better able to take steps towards maintaining our sense of control and agency over ourselves and our relationships. That includes setting boundaries, with certain individuals, communicating your needs and desires openly with your friends, hello, relationship partners, colleagues, etc., and then making decisions based on our own needs rather than trying to please other people. I said we need to take our power back. You got to take your power back. Because if you do not take your power back, you will be susceptible to being at the whim of somebody else. If they're up, then you got to be up. If they're down, you down. Whatever temperature he was at, the house was at. I had my brother and sister in the house at one point, and they didn't know whether they was coming or going because he would be on edge. If he's upset, everybody walking on eggshells. And we don't know what's happening, what's going on. Oh, it was crazy. That is no place to be. That is in no place to be. And I'm going to tell you this. If you're listening to me, whether you're listening live or whether you are watching, listening on a playback, if you're that person that's causing all of this mayhem and muckery going on in your environments and in people's lives, check yourself. Please. Check yourself. Heal whatever is going on. See, the issues with him, the issue with my ex-husband is he had unresolved mama issues, unresolved daddy issues, unresolved resentment towards his first wife who had the kids, and unresolved resentment towards the kids because they didn't want to be around him because he's too angry. Even with the son that came to stay with us, he didn't come back because his dad was too angry. Come on now. When you're pushing everybody away because of your instability, that's a problem. You might want to stop blaming everybody else. What is the common denominator? Who is the common denominator? That's what you need to pay attention to. Everybody's not lying on you, okay? Seriously. DC said, this has been some rejuvenating healing weeks. Yes, ma'am, honey. This book is no joke. This book is confronting. This book makes you stop being, it takes you from victimhood and it puts the ball right back in your court. What are you doing about your situation? Yes, all of the stuff happened to you. She says each session has yielded improvement. Yes. Yes, that person did that stuff to you. Yes, the things happened to you. Yes, those things took place. Yes, 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 yes. However, none of that could have taken place if you didn't allow that stuff to take place. It was something in you that allowed that situation to happen. It was something in you. Let me tell you, and this is the crazy, y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy what I'm about to say. It's crazy. Like who, what, huh? Every single thing that I went through was necessary. Oh, what? What you mean? Miss B, no. Yes. Every single thing that I went through was necessary. You know why? Because it all called on, it called and tugged at something that I was depleted of. It tugged at a void that I needed to fill, that I used other people, places, and things to fill, but none of that was supposed to fill it. It made me see me. It forced me to look at some areas that I didn't even realize had been there. It pulled those areas. It illuminated that stuff. And I'm telling you, this stuff, every single thing that I just told y'all, listen to me. Every situation, every little iota, I purposely went over those details to tell you this. That man, my ex-husband, did exactly what he was supposed to do for me. Oh my God. I know you lying, Miss B. I know you lying, Miss B. I know you ain't just saying. Out of everything he did, I can't believe because what we ain't finna do. I can hear y'all. I can see y'all necks rolling. I can see y'all wrists in the air, pointing the finger. I know good and well. Miss B, I know you lying. He did exactly what he was supposed to do for me. Because had he not, right? Had he not showed up for that going away party, had he not moved in with that woman, had he not had to move into my house, had he not needed the support to go on those job interviews, had he not needed his son to come and stay with us, had he not went through the anger management and the anger issues and things like that, it got so bad that one of the issues that we had, the state of Georgia pressed charges on this man, okay? Because of the damages that he did. It was called, the charge was, oh my goodness, criminal trespassing. That was a charge. The state of Georgia pressed charges on him because of what he did to me, right? On Georgia property. Sure enough, it took me speaking to his attorney. That man was in jail 21 days. It took me, the victim, speaking to his attorney to get him out, to work a deal and get him out of jail. Because the state of Georgia was trying to keep him in there for a year. But me, his wife, still operating in compassion, still trying to be the wife, the forgiving, loyal, faithful wife, because I said some words on our wedding day, in good times and in bad. Through sickness and in health, in richer and poorer, till death do us part. Right? I felt like I was supposed to. And remember what I told you. The only marriage successful that I saw was the one of my aunt and my uncle. And I remember that they had battles and they had fights, but they didn't leave each other. They didn't walk away. They endured. They stayed. And then I remember my grandma, she stayed. My mama, she stayed. They stayed. Everybody stayed. So I felt I needed to stay. Not realizing in the long run that as long as I was not getting the lesson, I was going to keep repeating the process. I had to get the lesson. And like I told y'all, every year that passed, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Every year that passed, it got worse and worse and worse. I had to get the lesson. I had to get the lesson. I got the lesson. I got the lesson. The lesson of boundaries. The lesson of saying no. The lesson of putting up, moving, getting out of the circumstance. The lesson of knowing that I'm better. I got the lesson. And guess what else? As a result, I could no longer be angry with that man. I had to say thank you. Because it's because of him that I was able to see those areas in my life and see them enough to pinpoint them and heal them. So I thank him. I thank him. It was a few years ago when I was still doing makeup and stuff like that. I said this in one of my private groups. I said, you know what? That man taught me so much. He taught me so much. Going into that marriage, I was so strict and so, serious about everything. He taught me how to lighten up, how to be silly. He taught me that. I picked that up. I know how to laugh now. For real. He taught me color. He taught me, because I was wearing black and gray and all of this stuff. He taught me color. He taught me expression. All of this stuff. He taught me that. He taught me, he's an Aquarius. So he taught me, how to be weird, how to be, how to go with the flow and how to be spontaneous and all of that stuff. He taught me those things. So I appreciate that. I had so many lessons coming away from that. However, once you gain your lessons, know when it's time to move around. Okay? You cannot heal in the same environment that broke you. Once I gained my lessons, now I needed to change my environment so that I can heal. When I told him in August 2015, I don't ever want to see your face again, I did not see that man again for 3 years until I came to the courtroom on the day of our divorce. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Okay? On the day of our divorce, we sat in that courtroom. I think that whole hearing was 15 minutes long. We were sitting in the lobby giggling and snickling. You know what I'm saying? When no issues, none of that. None of that. At that point, that man had, let me see, about 6 months after we split from each other, he had another woman, okay? That woman ended up calling my phone, you know. She literally called me, not asking, not on drama. None of them was dramaful at all. And I appreciate that. It was 3 women total. None of them was dramaful. She called me, the first one, and she says, I don't mean no harm, I don't mean no issues or whatever the case. She said, I just want to know, does he suffer from bipolarism or schizophrenia? Because 1 minute he'll be happy, the next he's just angry all of a sudden. And I said, wow. I said, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And I, being a woman that I am, I'm going to tell you the truth. I say, sis, you want to, no ma'am. You might want to make your way out of there. I promise you, you might want to make your way out of there. He told her all kind of lies. Oh, God. You might want to make your way out of there. Leave now. He told her we were divorced. Sis, no, we're not. We're 6 months in separation. No, we are not. Nowhere near. Okay. She said, oh my God. She said he had proposed to her, showed her rings that he wanted to buy her. Oh God, it was crazy. And then when he split from her, she split from him. He goes about maybe 3 months later, he goes, and it was another woman. That woman ended up calling me because all of his lies that he told caught up with him. Lies gonna catch up with you now, okay? Lies don't care who you tell it to. Lies gonna catch up with you. And sure enough, all of his always have. Sure enough, she contacts me. She asked me specific questions, one about my son. I answered her other questions, and I told her, I said, now, as far as my son go, I don't answer questions about my child. You tell me what you want to know for. Sure enough, she told me. This man lied. Let me tell y'all, this was the bigger one thing. This man lied and said that I was a one-night stand. He told her I was a one-night stand. Okay, DC. He told that woman I was a one-night stand. He had met me. It was a hit. It was a hit and run, hit and miss. I mean, like what you call it? Oh yeah, the one-night stand, smash and dash. He said that I ended up getting pregnant. Okay. And I was going to abort my son. This is a story he's telling her now. Forget the fact that we fully married, okay? I was going to abort my son. And he told her he had to convince me to keep my son and that he would raise my son, okay? Mind you, you all, we got matching tattoos of my son's name, okay? That is not the actions of someone who's about to abort a child, okay? But anyway. He told her, yes, that I was about to abort my son, that he had to convince me that he would raise my child if I carried on with the pregnancy. He says he told her the whole story about me losing my pulse and my son dying and stuff like that. But this was the kicker here. He says, after my son died, this is the version of the story he told this girl. He told her that I said, and I quote, I'm glad this nigga died because this nigga almost killed me. Talking about my son. These are the words that he told this girl that I said about my child. Honey, I kid you not, it was a wonder that this man was not standing in my face. Because I'm going to tell you now, I probably would have ended him right then and there. What? Oh, honey. See, when someone is broken, again, in there, they will make up whatever. They don't care. There is no boundaries. There are no limits that they won't cross. There are no lines that they won't cross at all. This man said this is his son too, now, by the way. Okay. This was the lie he told somebody to get the girl. This is what he told her. I said, whoa, I instantly got hot. Instantly. I instantly got hot. And I paused for about a minute or two. She had to say, hello, are you there? I'm here. I'm here. I just need to just give me a second. Because that day was the one of the worst days of my life. And he planned about what? What? Okay. I get off the phone with her. I gave her sound advice about what she was into. Okay. And then I get off the phone with her. I call him and I said, I promise you, I know you ain't just lied about my child. I know you didn't just put your mouth on my child. I know that ain't what you did. I know that ain't what you did. I know it ain't what you did. Cause you can say whatever you want. What's that Chrisette Michele song? Blame it on me. Say it's my fault. Say I'm a liar. I'm a cheater. Say anything that you want. I really don't care. I ain't crying no more. As pretty much as long as you say it's over. I don't care what story you tell. But when it come down to my child, our child, that's off limits. And you shouldn't have to tell somebody that certain things are off limits. But him, I had to, clearly. It was disappointing. Because that right there told me, oh, you just really you have no lines that you won't cross. There's no subject off limits from you. Okay, I'm dealing with that type of person here. Interesting. But again, that was more of understanding for me. And when I got into in my spiritual bag, when I really tapped into who I am spiritually, I learned more. My son wasn't safe here. My son would not have been safe here. Everything, y'all, everything happens for a reason. My son would not have been safe here. Not with him as a father, and not with me as a mother either. Because check this out. At that point, if I'm accepting that type of behavior, if I'm seeing, I'm showing, and I'm living and I'm accepting those things from a person, and I'm calling it love, my son wouldn't have been safe with me either. Anytime you're making haphazard, self-sabotaging, damaging, destructive decisions, and then you want to bring a child in the mix, that child ain't safe with you either. Forget the father. That child ain't safe with neither one of you. Because no one is taking the time to heal. Who's healing for the sake of that child? Who's doing that? Who's doing that for the sake of the child's life? Who's going to grant this child healthy parents and a healthy environment? Okay? Oh, yes, DC. DC on the Clubhouse says, another thought is he knew his mother deserved better. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because do you know, to this day, I would still be tied to that man if my child was living. Of course I would want my child right here with me. Absolutely. However, what type of life? Oh yeah, he will always, he currently still is trust, because energy never dies at all. At all. And trust me, I've had encounters with my child. Trust, okay? I've never been without my son. That's why I don't mourn him. I don't mourn him. Not anymore. I used to. I don't mourn him anymore. Once I got that understanding of spirit and energy, then my son has never gone anywhere. Okay. He just wasn't safe here physically. Not with the current parents that he had. Oh, no. Oh, no. Mm-mm. No. We were both destructive, and we would not have set a sound, peaceful learning environment for him to grow in the proper manner. We weren't okay. We weren't okay. This is why I tell some of my clients today, heal. Heal before having children so that your children ain't got to heal from having you as a parent. Heal. Okay? Heal. All right. That person took me through a lot of things, all because I needed to go through them. I needed it. No, we don't condone abuse in any form. We don't condone physical abuse. We don't condone emotional abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, no abuse. And they all are relevant. There's no one that's greater or worse than the other at all. They all are terrible. We don't condone none of it. However, in that sense, not only did I have to get the lesson that he only could teach me, I had to get it for my future. Not for him, not get the lesson so I can go back to him. Oh, no. Let this man be the conduit to the wisdom that you need for your tomorrow, for where you're going, for your journey, for the women that I was destined to stand before and have a conversation with. Because sis, you gotta heal, because there's somebody down your journey, down your path that's destined to meet you, and they need some type of sound understanding, and they need it from somebody who's been where they are going. Come on here. You gotta heal. You gotta heal. And in your healing, you gotta understand forgiveness. To this day, I've always, and even my family members can tell you, I've never bad mouthed. And when I say bad mouth, I mean told any lies on or exaggerated anything or whatever the case, because I don't have to. The truth is bad enough. Okay. Hello, somebody. We don't need to judge nothing up. The truth is bad enough. All right. What I've always wished him, though, is happiness, health, healing, the best. 1 year after we separated, y'all, 1 year, 2016, he reached out to me. No, I'm gonna say 6 months after we split. His mother, again, she's gone on to spirit, but she reached out to me and she says, Bianca. Now they know me, my government name. She says, Bianca. She says, I have to apologize to you. I'll never forget this conversation. She says, I have to apologize to you, and I said, no. I said, for what? She says, because we created that. We did that to him. We hurt him. We caused that damage in him. And unfortunately, you were the recipient. And I said, no, ma'am. I'm not going to let you do that. That is a grown man. He makes his own choices. Don't get me wrong, though that is correct. He is a grown man. He made his own choice. However, she also understood we did that to him. You cannot expect orange juice from an apple. All he knew was what he knew. And what he gave in any relationship dynamic was what he was given. Abandonment, rejection, hurt, pain, abuse. No one taught him how to be a husband. No one taught him how to love. No one taught him how to be compassionate. No one taught him how to be forgiving. He didn't know. He only knew what he had in him, what he was given. And here we are expecting someone who's never been given anything of the sort to be something great. What? How? We talking about forgiveness, y'all. We talking about forgiveness. That man he gave what he was given. That man put out what was put in him. It's just like a computer. That computer is only going to display what was uploaded. Come on now. Same thing with me. I only knew what I knew. It's impossible for somebody to know anything more than what they only know. That's it. And about 6 months after that, so a year after our separation, this is when he called and he apologized. And he says, I'm sorry, because a lot of that stuff, he says, there were times where you would come home and you would be happy and you would be celebrating something big, and I would cause an issue. I would create an argument because of where I was, to pull you out of that circumstance, to get you out of the happiness, to bring you down to my level. I would pick fights and I would do this just to be deliberate. I apologize for that. That meant the world to me. That meant the world to me. I promise you, had I stayed in that dynamic, he probably would have never gotten into that revelation. It takes, let me tell you how important it is for you. Thank you, DC. DC said, thank you, Miss B, for living in your purpose. Thank you, honey. Unfortunately, it shouldn't take that that hard of a lesson to get us there, but sometimes our fracture and our issues are so deeply rooted. Generational traumas and generational issues and generational scars are so deeply rooted that it takes a little longer for us to uproot that stuff. But we gotta do it. You know why you gotta do it? So that the next generation after you don't have to continue to try to heal the lineage's trauma. That's why your babies are born to you, y'all. They're born to you to help heal you. And then from your healed self, you can continue to bring them up. And then you all can continue to heal the traumas and the scars of the generations. DC said it does when you are bringing others along with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to go through those processes and we got to heal. We got to heal and we got to get the lessons. We must get the lessons. Understand that this life is not your own. DC said his mom, him, you, we all did and doing the work, and you are at the helm. Listen. That is what we're here. All of us are here holding each other's hand, walking each other home. One by one, generation after generation. So if you're still battling, if you're an elder right now and you still battling from scars from when you were 2, it's a problem. You know why? Because you're stunting the growth of the lineage. You're stunting the growth of the generation. Because you refuse to heal. You refuse to go through the hard conversations. You refuse to look in the mirror. You refuse to accept the issues that you need, the stuff that you're battling with. You refuse to heal. And when you refuse to heal, number one, when you refuse to acknowledge the fact that you need a healing, hello, and you refuse to do the work, then you're stopping, you're preventing and prolonging generational trauma. Because I suffered from the low self-esteem that my mama suffered from, that my grandmama suffered from, that I'm sure her mama suffered from. I suffered from the self-sabotage that my mama suffered from, that her mama suffered from. Hello. Can we see the pattern here? At some point, somebody got to stop and somebody got to heal. Somebody got to do it. But it first takes acknowledging. Period. You gotta first, in order, this GPS 101. GPS 101. When you turn on your GPS and your GPS Did you put in your GPS your destination? Your GPS cannot generate an accurate route on how to get there until it first identifies where you currently are. There's no way that you are going to accurately get to a destination that you want to get to and you ain't acknowledging where you currently are. You got to be honest with yourself. Where am I right now? Where am I? What is my location right now? I know where I want to go. I know I want to be healed. I know I want to be at peace. I know I want to have love. I know I want to be compassionate. I know I want to let these guards down. I know I want to, I know I want, but I refuse to acknowledge where I am right now. So how, pray tell, are you going to get to your destination? How are you going to generate an accurate route if you first don't acknowledge where you are right now? Where are you? Who are you? What are you? Those are the questions you need to have an answer to right now in this moment. What's holding you? What's keeping you? What is arresting you to your past? What's blocking you? Listen, yes, people, you can say, well, such and such and such and such, but honey, I'm telling you, such and such is in your life trying to help you identify the area in which you are falling short. Such and such is only a conduit, because it could be them or it could be somebody else, because that lesson is going to continue to come past you until you get it. Okay? You and that person could break up, and guess what? The next person to come along got the same similarities, doing the same stuff. DC say new moon right now. Absolutely. The shift is superb. Understand. And this new moon is asking us to identify the things, that the areas in which we have attachments. What are we refusing to let go of? What's keeping us locked in that place? Come on now. Identify, and do the work. Stop looking at these people as enemies. Look at the areas that they're triggering in you. That person and their actions should not bother you. It shouldn't be controlling you and how your response is going to be. Your response is an isolated response. That person's behavior is their behavior and theirs alone. But if it's triggering you, you might want to look at what it's triggering so you can see how you can develop that issue. Okay? DC said that YouTube channel replay team will be anointed to forgive forever. Okay. You have to understand the lessons that each person in your life is bringing to you. Understand the things that each person in your life is highlighting for you so that you can focus on that area and heal that area. That way, if anybody else comes after this person trying to play the same game that the previous person was playing, this time it will be like water rolling off your back because you healed in that area. That's no longer an issue for you. The issues that I dealt with in my previous relationship, marriages, and even other relationships before that, baby, I wish somebody would try it today. Oh, the way they feelings would be hurt. Because, baby, the way behind there, no. I'm going to tell you something. When you heal, certain calibers of individuals won't even be able to step in your arena no more. Because when you elevate, when you evolve, when you expand, then certain things can no longer penetrate your circle, your aura, your energy. Certain people know not to even try you in that way. They'll look at you and be like, yeah, nah, I'm good. I ain't gonna even try it. I ain't gonna even do it. You no longer become a magnet to certain stuff when you have truly healed and let go. We're talking about forgiveness. We're talking about forgiveness, specifically forgiving our partner or our ex-partners. I had to forgive, y'all. I had to forgive. Okay? Going back to the book, with that process, we gotta identify, we gotta understand and identify what's really the issue. We gotta identify it. When we identify, only then can we find the solution. Can we do the work? Do the work. That way, those issues are behind you. Because each level brings a new lesson. Even now, some of the lessons that I'm undergoing right now ain't got nothing to do with what I just went through. I'm done with that stuff. That stuff is behind me now. I got new stuff that I'm being prepped for. It's healing, evolving, expanding, extending, elevating is a continual journey. You've never arrived until you leave this life and go back into your highest, purest form. You've never arrived. You're always still transforming. Okay? So in this process, we must identify. Get yourself into a quiet place and where you're not disturbed and all of those things. Sit down. Still your mind. Still your mind. And get to that place of understanding. Identify. Be truthful with yourself. Honey, you ain't fooling nobody. You ain't fooling nobody. Be truthful with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Okay? Going into the book, she says, I forgive myself for judging my partner, my ex-partner. Today's forgiveness practice is about releasing and healing all grievances we hold against our current or our past intimate partner. The challenge with those whom we love is that they are the only ones who can get close enough to us to cause us heartbreak. They are also the ones who come into our lives to teach us the most powerful lessons. Unfortunately, it is normal to get stuck on the heartbreak and in doing so, miss the lessons. As you move through today's practice, give yourself permission to tell the low down, dirty truth about what you are thinking, feeling, and believing. What part of yourself can you see in your partner or ex-partner? And are you willing to forgive it in you? Come on here. What part of yourself? Because the energy gravitates towards where it's comfortable. Energy matches energy. It was something in him that gravitated to me, something in me that gravitated to him that felt comfortable. It gravitated to itself. So it was those things that he was battling with were necessary for me to be around because I needed to identify the areas in me that I was battling with. Okay? All right? Are you willing to forgive that thing in yourself? Love brings up everything unlike itself. Ooh. This means the deeper you love someone, the more unloving parts of yourself will be revealed. Okay, DC said, yes, I'm willing. Yes, ma'am. Listen, are you willing to forgive it in yourself? Love brings up everything unlike itself. This means the deeper you love someone, the more unloving parts of yourself will be revealed. Come on here. Here's the prayer of forgiveness. Dear God, once again, I lay my weapons down. This time, I really mean it. This time, I really open my heart. This time, I really surrender my hurts and judgments. This time, I ask for and open myself to know the part of myself that is being revealed in the behavior of my partner or my ex-partner. I ask to know and see it. I ask to acknowledge and heal it. I forgive myself for making this so hard on myself and for blaming someone else for the pain that I have endured. I rest in thee. I let it be, and so it is. Honey, honey. Man. Miss DC say, Miss B, this day began phenomenal. As each week, I know a challenge may arise because I've chosen to forgive. Yes, ma'am, honey. And listen, even when you make the decision to forgive, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about lessons. Lessons gonna try you, okay? To see if you really about that life that you just said that you was about. Oh, oh. See, a lot of people, again, just like this chapter is talking about how the whole book is talking about how we like to put it on other people. We like to put it on this and this thing, this person over here, they because they did. That's just like us saying, oh, the devil made me do it. Oh, the enemy this and the enemy thought the enemy did this and the enemy did that and the devil did this and Satan and devil, you a lie. Listen, y'all fighting something that ain't even there, okay? You know who you need to be fighting? Yourself. Those thoughts that rise up in your mind would not rise up from anywhere except for within. Them thoughts that you're thinking are coming from a place inside of you. Okay? That's what that is. Okay? Those words that you're saying that are not loving words and peaceful words and all of that stuff, guess where they're coming from? Yourself. It's coming from areas inside of us that need to be healed. Those decisions that you're making, and the devil ain't make you do nothing. Okay? You are the devil. The devil is you. Understand that. Your enemy is your inner me. Catch it. Your enemy, the only enemy that you have is your inner me. Okay? The only one. What's happening on your inside? What are you avoiding? What are you suppressing? What are you not confronting? Okay? Those are the things. Now, you already know in each chapter, there's always forgiveness statements that we have to write through. We got to go through. I forgive my mind for thinking. I forgive my mind for judging. I forgive myself for believing. Okay? So the examples of you got 4 statements. You got to write 4 for each section, totaling 12. The example for I forgive my mind for thinking is this. I forgive my mind for thinking that my wife is not worth my time or energy, or my husband is not worth my time or energy. Okay? That's an example of I forgive my mind for thinking. The example for I forgive myself for judging. I forgive myself for judging my ex-husband for not having a better relationship with our children. That's a big one. Ooh, that's a big one. For those of you all who are in relationships where you were once married and have children involved and things like that. Oh, that's a big one, honey. All right. That's the I forgive myself for judging section. And then the last section, I forgive myself for believing. I forgive myself for believing that my ex-partner and not my choices are responsible for my unhappiness. I forgive myself for believing that my ex-partner and not my choices are responsible for my unhappiness. No, ma'am, no ham, no spam. Your unhappiness are from your choices. Your choices. Okay. DC say, enjoying my work day because I have a super light job on weekends, but I indulge myself with teriyaki chicken topped with chopped in raspberries with yellow rice, jasmine rice, and veggies. Yes, ma'am. With those peanut butter cookies. Yes. Like you taught, each step has a process. I'm so ready. Girl, listen, you are over there grubbing down. You understand me? Grubbing down. Okay, listen. So the problem, and of course you got to go through your tapping sequence and things like that. Usually I go through the process of allowing you all to write down things or whatever, but we've been here for quite some time. Listen, you all, I'm happy to say, yes, the story is what it is. I mean, you can't rewrite history. Hello, okay. Let me say this: they can attempt to rewrite. They've been rewriting our history. Hello, the Black history for so long. However, history is what it is. So you cannot rewrite actual happenings, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. It happened. If it happened, it happened. However, however, I choose I choose to keep the story what it is, right? But take the lessons out of it and apply the lessons, heal from with the lessons, and maneuver on. And because of the thanks and the gratification that I have for him, because I'm so grateful for him. I hate that he was in the situation that he was in, or in the despair or the hurt or the devastation or whatever that he was dealing with then. I hate that I hated it then, and I hate it now if he's still going through it. However, because we haven't spoke for years. But I will say this: I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he was a conduit for me. I'm grateful that he was utilized to teach me. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to him, right? I'm also grateful to him for allowing me the experience of carrying a child, feeling the child, hearing the heartbeat, going through the process. I'm grateful because had it not been for him, I would have never had this experience at all. I'm grateful. I wish him, as I wished him then, I wish him nothing but the best. I hope and pray that he got the healing that he needed. I hope and pray that he got the freedom and the peace of mind that he needed. I hope and pray. I really, really do. I really, really do. I truly do. I wish him nothing but the best. Even his children that he's had, from what I understand, his oldest son that we used to have is now a husband and a father all by himself. So he has a grandson. I hope, because that was a very tumultuous relationship, him and his son, even him and his daughter. I hope and pray that if it's not today, that it happens soon, that they can mend their relationship, that he can get his son and daughter back. Okay. I hope and pray. I wish him nothing but greatness because he's deserving just like everybody else is. I wish him freedom and joy and love and peace and all of those things, just like everybody else is. Okay. I hope. I don't know. I don't know. I doubt if he's listening or whatever the case, but even if he is, or even if somebody who knows him is, know that. Tell him I wish him nothing but the best. I wish him happiness, all of that. All of that. Even on the day that maybe like 2 weeks after the day that we got it, that we ended the divorce or whatever from the courthouse, we stood out in front of that courtroom. I had my mom and my dad. He had his best friend who I've known since he met him, and so we embraced one another. And he said, man, continue to do what you're doing, man. You kicking butt. I told him, I said, you thought I wouldn't? Okay, just because you ain't here no more don't mean that the go in me ain't still there. Hello, okay. Now, I told him, I looked at him in his face and I said this. I said, as soon as you realize the king on the inside of you and step into that, you'll be just fine. Those were the words I told him outside of the courthouse on the day we got a divorce. I said, as soon As you realize the king on the inside of you and align with that king, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. And I know that to be true. He's as smart as a whip. The man is a genius. Okay. He's amazing in the kitchen, a culinary artist, award winning culinary artist. He's amazing. Unfortunately, there's so much hurt and pain deep down on the inside of him that it was speaking louder than the gifts and the greatness that's on the inside of him. I hated that for him. I hope and I pray. He's remarried now. I hope and I pray that he sees who he truly is and he aligns with that person, because there's greatness on the inside of that man. Always have been, always will be. Always will be. He is deserving just like everybody else. And for that, I wish him wonders, wonderful life, a wonderful blessing, a whole life, restored relationships, restored health, restored mental healing, restored emotional healing, restored physical healing, release of grief, release of pain, release of sadness, release of anxiety. All of that. I wish him the freedom that he deserves. I really do. Okay. DC say, may I ask, how liberating are you feeling presently? You put the trash out and I want to know the freshest opportunity are before you now. Listen, and that's the thing. The issue, none of it was trash. All things work together for our good. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. All things work together for our good. Nothing's trash. Nothing's trash. Not a person, not a place, not a thing, not a scenario, none of it. It's all necessary. It's all necessary. We got to see it as such. It's all necessary. There's no trash. He's certainly not trash. He is an extension of God. He is a life. He is a creation of the Almighty, infinite intelligence, source, the I am. I dare not call that man trash. We are all extensions of God. We are all small molecules of the great I am. Okay? DC say, I meant in reference to sharing nor the individuals. Oh, no, it's trust me. I understand. All is well. I promise you, all is well. All is well. And that's the thing too. You know what helps in the forgiveness process? In seeing the person. In sharing, she said, sometimes sharing the past can be a lot. Oh yeah, sometimes sharing the past can be a lot, especially if you're still attached to it. I am completely detached from that part of my life. I promise you. Because again, once you gain the lessons, that thing has no hold on you anymore. You can speak about it and still be okay. You can speak about it and not feel any butterflies, anger, rage, because some people can't even have the conversation anymore, or without getting enraged and crying and being upset and having to breathe and count to 10 and woo-side. No, when I tell you, I'm so far removed from that. My lessons have been learned, honey. Okay, I promise you, I can tell that story 20 times over and walk away laughing and all of that stuff. Okay, being just fine. She said, yes, that's what I mean by putting out the trash. Absolutely. Just and taking the lesson, applying the lesson, and coming out better. You know what I'm saying? Coming out better, coming out more chiseled, more shaped, more refined, all of that. That's absolutely. Oh man. It takes you being able to do that in order for you to turn around and wish that very same person that brought on all such pain or whatever, you gotta be able to do that in order to be able to release and heal that and forgive that person. You gotta be able to detach from it. You must. in order for you to even see the good in the situation. Yeah. DC said, would I recycle in someone else's fortune or new product, but my trash? Yes, ma'am, I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. 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 That's the only way that you'll be able to speak life and speak good things to that person who once was harbored hurt and pain and treated you wrong. Only when you can heal from it, only when you heal from it, and only when you can see the better, the good out of it. Again, that's why it's called radical forgiveness, because this ain't regular, this ain't regular. No, you gotta go deep down in a place in order to pull this level of forgiveness up. Okay. This ain't regular stuff. You can't forgive someone surface level like this. You can't truly do that. Nuh-uh. You gotta do some radical, crazy forgiving. And that's what this process is about. Really and truly forgiven. Okay. All righty. Here go Eckhart Tolle. This is a quote from Eckhart Tolle, who's the author of A New Earth: Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. We may read that book one day. We already have our book lined up after this book, but it's The Secret. We definitely going into The Secret after this. But this is the quote is, with forgiveness, your victim identity dissolves and your true power emerges. The power of presence. Instead of blaming the darkness, you bring in the light. I'm going to read this quote again. With forgiveness, your identity dissolves and your true power emerges. The power of presence. Instead of blaming the darkness, you bring in the light. That is amazing, you all. That concludes today's lesson. I was going to go into another story, but I said, no, because I didn't think I was just going to hit both stories. You know what I'm saying? But that story there really spoke about radical forgiveness and the need and how to get through that. Right. So that was lesson enough. Okay. The other story is in my book. You can order the book to get that other story if you want to. Okay, it's on my website. If you're on Clubhouse, above my head. If you're listening on YouTube, it's in the captions and stuff like that, or any other platform. It's all on my website. Okay. Alrighty. Speaking of, if you want to follow and you want to follow me in any other platforms or whatever the case, you can do that. You can go to my website. Number one, that is www.biancamissblee.com. Again, if you're in Clubhouse, you'll definitely see it above my head. You can email me at info@biancamissblee.com. You can visit me on Instagram or YouTube at Dr. Bianca Miss B Lee, or and Facebook as well, or Twitter, just Bianca Miss B Lee. They wouldn't let me put the doctor there. There's too many characters. Okay. Now, if you want to go into the spiritual learnings and practices and things like that in the spiritual realm, then you can visit my Patreon and become a member of Patreon, patreon.com/Mama B's Kitchen. When we are in there, we are working, okay? We're tapping into your abilities spiritually. None of what we teach on the outside here in the open public do we talk about there, because there we're building up your spirit person. We're building up your higher self. No, well, we're aligning you to your higher self. We're aligning your spirit to your highest self. Okay. We're tapping into your abilities spiritually. We're teaching you how to recognize your sources, your resources, your court, your spiritual court, your people around you, your energies around you, angels, angelic forces, your ancestors, all of those things. So we're tapping into those abilities for you to be able to heal yourself and all of those things, okay? Spiritually speaking, a whole 9 yards, all right? Now, that's Patreon again, patreon.com/Mama B's Kitchen, okay? Now, with that being said, we are going into next week, next Sunday. The lesson is day 15. I forgive my brother or my sister. I forgive my brother or my sister. That might be a tough one for some of us, okay? Be sure you are here, 5 p.m. Central, I'm sorry, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Divine Femininity United. Okay, I love you all so very much. This was awesome. This was awesome. Hey, Journey, welcome, honey. This was awesome. Now, I don't believe for some reason Clubhouse would not allow me to make this room, or not so much make it public, would not allow me to turn on the replays. I don't know why. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it last minute. Nope. It won't allow me to. And it's purposefully. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. This one here probably needed to go to the archive. It probably needs to go to the ether. Okay. Because for some reason on the platform here, on the video platform, it's not allowing me to do it either. So this conversation needed to be for the individuals that are here. Okay. I'm appreciative of that. I know Journey got a sad face. I know. I know. But see, that tells you right there. Turn on the notifications. Make sure you RSVP for the spaces and all of those things for next week. Okay. Day 15. I forgive my brother. I forgive my sister. Okay. Alrighty, you all. I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it. I will see. Yes, it's on YouTube. Yes, it's on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube, my YouTube channel. Okay, Dr. Bianca Miss V Lee. You'll be able to play it back over there. Okay. I prefer everybody to kind of go to YouTube anyway. Okay. Alrighty, but in any case, you can view it from wherever you need to view it from. Alrighty, you all. I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try. We will see you back here next week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific. Okay. See you then. Enjoy the rest of the Father's Day Sunday. Peace. Thank you.